Hey guys, welcome back. This is John with Ben Motorcycle Adventures, and this is part 2 of my motorcycle adventure on the Idaho Backcountry Discovery Route. We left off at Burgdorf Hot Springs. I had ridden for 3 days, about 350 miles, and now it was time to really start covering some ground. On the 4th day, I had about 235 miles to cover, and a lot of ground that I wanted to check out. On the 4th morning, I tiptoed out of Burgdorf Hot Springs around daybreak and started making my way towards the French Creek grade. So when you think about riding or even driving 235 miles, you think, that's really not that far, and it isn't. But you know, by the time you stop and refuel, take a break, grab lunch, and take some photos, you end up being out there for quite a while. So I was trying to cover a fair amount of ground early on in the day. So kept riding for a ways toward the French Creek grade. Sun was coming up over the nearby mountains, and then eventually I stumbled upon the old bus.
The old school bus. Kind of a landmark or point of interest on the tour. Right on. I'm gonna keep moving.
So now we're making our way toward the French Creek grade, which I think is probably one of the most understated parts of the whole Idaho Backcountry Discovery Route. The road's really cool to ride on, and then once you break out into the open, it's pretty awesome. So you just wind your way down to the bottom, which takes quite a while, and then you find yourself on the Salmon River. You'll ride along the Salmon for a few miles. You'll see some cool sandy white beaches, and then you'll cross the Manning Bridge, which is really impressive. I stopped here, caught the rest of the sunrise, and took some photos too. Great spot. Not far from the Manning Bridge, you'll break away from the Salmon River and head up towards the old mining town of Florence. The riding in here was really good. I was surprised. Tighter dirt roads, a lot of trees, pretty twisty. And then ultimately you make your way out onto some asphalt. And I think you have about a 30-mile stretch of pavement to get to Elk City, but it's all along the Clearwater River, so really pretty section that I enjoyed along the way. I stopped in Elk City for lunch and to top off my gas tank. It's the last place to stop for 120 miles, so best to make sure everything's squared away before you set off on the McGruder Corridor. Alright, let's talk about the McGruder Corridor for a second. It's a dirt road between Elk City, Idaho and Connor, Montana. 105, 110 miles long. No side roads, no bailouts. So once you get out in the wilderness there, you're pretty much on your own. Let me clarify. You're on your own if nobody else is out there. When I rode through the McGruder Corridor, I think I saw 6 other people. 4 of them were on motorcycles. So the McGruder is regarded as one of the most remote roads in the lower 48. You're surrounded by large wilderness areas, again over 100 miles between services, and really no side roads to speak of. And pretty much what you see on the screen here is what it's like for the duration. The road's actually pretty wide, in pretty good shape, and you know, I made it through here in a few hours. If you get a chance, I would take the short side trip up to the Burnt Knob Fire Lookout. It's just a couple miles off the beaten path or off the main line. Pretty rocky, it's not steep or anything, so if you have a large adventure bike, it might be a bit of a challenge, but it's a pretty nice viewpoint as far as the area is concerned. I would definitely check it out. So I pretty much saw everything that I wanted to see on the Magruder. The riding was really good, the road was awesome. I'd love to go through there on a larger adventure bike, but I went up to Burnt Knob, took a break at Poet Creek, stopped by and read about some of the history at the Magruder Massacre landmark, and just started making my way towards Montana from there. One piece of advice: once you start to descend from the Magruder toward Montana, make sure you stay on your side of the road. It's really steep, really windy. Good place to meet somebody. Just an FYI. So that pretty much concludes part 2 of my motorcycle adventure on the Idaho Backcountry Discovery Route. After dropping off the Magruder, it's a mix of pavement and gravel roads, which will take you to Connor, Montana. Ultimately, I stayed in Darby, but don't overlook this last section along the Nez Perce Fork and then the Nez Perce Pass. It was actually a really cool way to end the day, really beautiful area, and I'm looking forward to going back there in the near future. If you want to catch part 3 of my motorcycle adventure on the Idaho Backcountry Discovery Route, don't forget to hit subscribe. Any questions or comments, please leave them below. And finally, don't forget that September 23rd to the 29th of 2019, we'll be hosting a tour on the Idaho Backcountry Discovery Route. So thanks again for watching.